folks. Welcome to CMX, the largest association of community professionals dedicated to helping community professionals learn and grow. Today's event is sponsored by Discourse. Discourse is a powerful community platform that enhances online interactions by combining the power of long-form discussion with real-time chat. Their customizable all-in-one software includes moderation controls, custom user privileges, powerful reporting, and over 60 official plugins to make each Discourse site a unique experience. With Discourse, you can collaborate with your coworkers, start an external customer support forum, build a developer knowledge base, and so much more. Unlock the power of Discourse today with a 14-day free trial. Okay, folks, now that we've gotten the housekeeping over, I've got an incredible show for you today. Today's event is called How to Get Marketing to Listen to You, and our guest is the one and only Mark Schaefer. Just want to read you a little bit of Mark's bio so you know a little bit more about him. Mark Schaefer is a globally recognized author, speaker, futurist, and business consultant. He is a prolific writer and speaker whose work sits at the intersection of marketing, technology, and humanity. He has advanced degrees in marketing and organizational development, holds not one, not two, but 7 patents, and is a faculty member of the Graduate Studies program at Rutgers University. He is also the best-selling author of 10 popular books, including the very first book on influence marketing. His blog, Grow, and the podcast, The Marketing Companion, are ranked among the top-rated publications in the marketing field. His clients range from successful startups to global brands such as Adidas, Johnson & Johnson, Dell, the U.S. Air Force, and the UK government. On media channels such as CNN, The Wall Street Journal, The New York Times, and CBS News. All the way from Tennessee, where his very own bees make honey that wins blue ribbons at the state fair. Let's give Mark Schaefer a warm CMX Connect Denver welcome. Come on up to the stage, Mark.
Well, I'm just absolutely delighted and thrilled. And, maybe say, oh, well, I expect him to say that. But I really am delighted and thrilled today because I'm going to present some ideas really to you for the first time. We're going to be talking a little bit today with some big ideas from a new book that I wrote called Belonging to the Brand: Why Community is the Last Great Marketing Strategy. If you're feeling a little bit insecure or anxious about community and leading a community, then this book is basically the business case for you and what you do. And I think you'll have a lot of pride, a lot of validation when you read this book. So Lori specifically asked me today to talk about this connection to marketing. I live in marketing. I breathe marketing. I love it. It's such an interesting profession. So I'm probably a good person to talk about this because I cover both areas. I cover community and marketing. So what I'm going to do today is start at a very high level, very, very high level, and talk about why community is so important to marketing right now. I'm going to talk about what I see are some of the disconnects between community marketing, and then finally what you can do about it. So as I said, that is the book. And what I want to do is talk about there are 3 mega trends that are coming together right now that point to community as the future of marketing. And as I state rather boldly on my book title, I actually think this is not just a great marketing strategy, it may be the last marketing strategy. So the first megatrend is that traditional marketing doesn't work like it used to. And this is a big topic. I could speak for hours about that. But I think the short answer is, and maybe a lot of people can relate to this, is let's just look at advertising. So whenever you watch The Mandalorian, how many ads do you see? None. When you listen to music on Spotify, how many ads do you hear? None. When you listen to an audiobook, how many ads do you hear? None. So our our consumption of marketing messaging is down about 95% in the last 5 years. Brands, just about any company really, is desperate to find new ways to connect to customers. But it gets even worse. This is research that was actually completed in 2019, right before the pandemic. I think this number is even bigger now. 2/3 of our marketing is occurring without us. It's what people are telling each other. It's what's happening on social media. It's what's happening in testimonies and reviews, and even this crazy thing we call influencers are having a big, big impact on what people buy. So the big idea in marketing right now isn't about advertising. It's not about telling people how great we are. It's about getting other people to talk about our company and our brand. So maybe your mind is already spinning here with how this can be connected to community. Second big megatrend. I think this is the greatest megatrend, possibly for the next 10 years at least. I think most of the people listening here today are based in America, perhaps even in the Denver area. And you probably see the same things that I do, that mental health is in the news every day. There was this headline in the New York Times a few years ago that absolutely broke my heart. It said, "The loneliest generation." And they're talking about Gen Z. They're talking about our children. They're talking about our teenagers and the record levels of isolation, depression, loneliness, that's become a chronic health issue. This is not just Gen Z, and it's not just happening now. I think the pandemic certainly accelerated things, but the rate of depression has been creeping up since the 1960s. It's 10 times what it was in 1960. In 1980, 20% said they were often lonely. Today, it's 40%. 22% of millennials said they have no friends at all. And I think we're really starting to see this, where this has really been in the news. The alarming rates of anxiety, depression, compulsive behavior, and self-harm showing up in Gen Z. I saw statistics that were released just 2 weeks ago that showed that young adults aged 18 to 24, on 51% of young adults in our country, 51% have already seen medical treatment for a mental health condition. 51%. The average for every other age group is 24%. We're already starting to see this creep into culture, creeping into marketing. During March Madness last year, the big basketball tournament, Powerade, this is a sports drink. It's made to make you be a better athlete, to run faster and have more energy. Their whole ad campaign, stop, pause is power. Their spokesperson was Simone Biles. So this idea of mental health is creeping in everywhere. Now, again, you might be thinking about, what does this have to do with community? We need community. Community has a positive impact on mental health. We need it psychologically. We need it sociologically. There's evidence in my book. We even need community for physical health benefits. The third megatrend, new technology. These are ideas that have been in the news a lot. They've been all over the web, and maybe they seem a little confusing. Things like Web3, metaverse, NFTs, new areas like Fortnite is a game. Twitch is a huge online community where people watch each other play video games. Uh, we have new places like Discord, where a lot of young people, a lot of new young gamers are starting to hide out. And these are very confusing. I mean, I don't think anybody really even has a good definition for what Web3 is right now. But when you cut through all the jargon, you cut through all the clutter, what this means is that millions and millions and millions of dollars are being spent to create new ways to connect. Now, let's get even a little more granular about this, and let's talk about another way community is important and community connects to marketing in a very important and significant way, a very profound way, in fact. So one of the most important ideas I think I introduce in the book is this idea, the continuum of emotional connection. Almost all of the companies you work for have some presence on social media. This is awesome because it allows us to connect to people we've never connected to anywhere in the world. It's very, very significant. It represents potential. However, it's a very weak emotional connection. Why is this important? Brand marketing is about creating an emotional connection between what we do and our customers. Now, if I go out on social media, I have 180,000 followers on Twitter. And if I go out to Twitter and say, hey, everybody, buy my book, I won't sell very many books. I'd be amazed if I sold 2 books. Why? Because social media, it's like throwing a message in a bottle out into the ocean, just hoping someone will pick it up. There's not this tight emotional connection. Here's the best thing we can do. Bring our social media connections into our content. When people subscribe to our blog, to our Instagram account, to our podcast, to our video series on YouTube, in a virtual way, they're raising their hand and they're saying, we buy into you, we opt into you, we believe in you. It's okay for you to communicate to me. It's even okay to market to me. Now we have a new level of resonance. We have a new level of emotional connection. We have a reliable audience. This is where it gets confusing because a lot of people say, oh, I have a community, but they don't. They have an audience. What you and I know is that community is different. Community is when people really connect to you. They're there for each other. They're building collaboration and connectivity and co-creation and friendships, and they help each other. They nurture each other. That is an entirely new level of emotional connection. And guess what? This has been almost entirely overlooked by marketing. And honestly, if I'm honest, even by most companies. I don't even think they even know the value of what they have. This takes emotional connection to a whole new level because when you have people in a community connecting and caring and collaborating, you create influence. You create organic advocacy. You create fans, not just customers, but fans who are willing to fight for you. This is why community is just so powerful. This is a picture of some of the people in my community. Community can be online, community can be offline. This is an offline event I had over in England, and it creates this powerful advocacy. Now, we talked about the amazing power of marketing to enter the 2/3. Remember what I talked about. 2/3 of our marketing, 2/3 of our sales is happening without us because it's what people are saying about us. My community is also online. I have it on Discord, and my community is all about learning about the future of marketing. One of the things we do is we have experiments in the metaverse. We recently had an experiment in the metaverse. This is my penthouse in the metaverse. It has a hot tub. And one of the things we learned we could do, you could see we have fake champagne bottles in my fake penthouse on a fake ski slope. And we learned we could jump into this hot tub with our clothes on. And you could see here, I'm with a few of my friends. There's someone from Australia, someone from Belgium, someone from England. And we're in this hot tub with our clothes on, with the sun setting over the ski slope with our friends from all over the world. This is awesome. And people took pictures of this and they shared it all over the internet. And here's what happened. People said, Mark, how do I get involved in this? How do I join in this? My friends, that is the best marketing you could ever hope for. This is organic advocacy because people, they may not hear your ads. If they hear your ads, they certainly won't believe their ads. But people believe each other. We believe our friends. We believe our neighbors. And we believe people are people from our community. The future of business, the future of marketing is community. And almost nobody sees that. And almost nobody recognizes that. Before I go into this idea of connecting with marketing in a more effective way, I want to give you one case study that shows another powerful idea in my book. When community not just becomes part of marketing, community becomes the business. This is my friend Dana. Dana is an amazing entrepreneur. And around 2015, she was running her business and she became pregnant. And she had one group of friends that said, well, you really need to, you can't give up this business. And another group of friends that was saying, well, you've got to spend your time being a great mother. And she said, I want to do both. And she was talking about these ideas in a Facebook group. And she got this small group of people around her that said, yes, we need to learn about this. We need to support each other. So she created a community called Boss Mom. Today in Boss Mom, she has about 80,000 members. Her business has been almost doubling every year. She has driven about $1 million in revenue through this community. And yet she has no advertising, no sales, no marketing budget, no SEO, no content marketing plan, no social media plan. She does no selling. And yet people buy her books, her courses, her meetups, her conferences, her consulting, because she has created this safe space, this amazing community, nurturing, validating moms who also want to be entrepreneurs. This is the ultimate marketing. It's marketing with no marketing. She'll never have to sell. She'll never have to market. So I just wanted to create that as like this new vision of what community means to marketing. It is our future. It is marketing without marketing. It's the only marketing people don't want to avoid People want community. They need community. They long to belong. Now, let's talk about the disconnects. Here is something that came, I think, from the CMX report last year, as a matter of fact. Only 30% of you report to marketing. Well, no wonder there's a disconnect with marketing. I can't believe this number. What is marketing? The person in charge of marketing is responsible for every customer touch point. If you have a complaint, that affects your marketing. If you have unhappy people, that affects your marketing. I cannot imagine a more important touch point in my life than community. This completely blows my mind that 70% of you do not report to marketing. So, I mean, this is like a massive disconnect. Maybe the biggest disconnect is measurement. And this is not really your fault. I mean, this is a fault of the company and the culture, really. And they're not really recognizing the value in what you do. Here's one of the things that is a chronic problem in community, that 90% of you say, oh, I know that I'm creating value to the community. But only 10% of you have a way to really to verify it, to validate it. And part of the reason is, and one of my frustrations about the whole community industry right now is that we're reaching for straws. We're trying to come up with all these weird measurements that they're not native to business. It's not part of the business language. We're making up our own metrics that the accountants don't understand. We've got to talk in the language of business. It's the only way we will be validated. It's the only way we will have credibility. It's the only way we will be understood if we talk about metrics in the language of business. Now, the biggest problem is that we've got the wrong perspective, about measurement. And here's what I mean. 70% of all brand communities today are transactional. Basically, the major focus is on customer self-service. You have a problem with your software, go into our community. Why is the focus here? Because it's easy to measure. It's cost avoidance. If we have people solving their problem in community, awesome. We can measure that. There's nothing wrong with this, by the way, but here's the problem. Let me skip ahead to a slide. We're missing the biggest idea that some marketing is transactional, but most marketing is brand marketing. So I'm not going to go through all these things, but product innovation, brand differentiation, customer retention, co-created products, it's much bigger than this idea of transaction, of direct marketing. Let me explain what I mean. Gatorade owns 80% of the $30 billion sports drink market. Powerade is the distant competitor. Now, Powerade is focused on transactions. They're focused on coupons, getting a little bit more shelf space, end of aisle displays, discounts, advertising. So they're trying to eke it out. Gatorade, by the way, charges twice as much in the store. They own 80% market share, and they're focused on brand marketing. How are they relevant in the culture? Some of you may know this iconic sports moment. if we have a big win in football or baseball, and even in soccer in America, the players sneak up behind the coach at the end of the game and they pour the vat of Gatorade over their head. Now, let me tell you something I saw that happened in the recent football playoffs. One of the playoff games was actually sponsored by Powerade. They snuck up behind the coach. They were going to pour the vat of Powerade over their head. And here's what the sports broadcaster said. Here comes the Gatorade bath. But it wasn't Gatorade. Gatorade owns the culture. That, my friends, is brand marketing. And here's what I want to ask you. Does the Gatorade bath sell more Gatorade? The answer is yes. Can we measure it? No. Does that mean we shouldn't do it? Of course it doesn't. Of course we need to do it. Because here's the idea. We can either keep up with the pace of culture and be relevant to our customers, or we can measure it. We probably can't do both. And we need to look at new ways of measuring. I go into this great detail in my book. I don't have time to go into it today. So here's the summary. Some of the things we need to do, and I'd be glad to open it up to questions. I'll let Lori moderate that as we head into the end here of the presentation. So here's one of the things, some of the things I think we need to do to improve this connection to marketing. First of all, I think you need to be asking yourselves, why in the world am I not reporting to marketing? That may not be in your control, but I guarantee you that is the number one disconnect. You need to be reporting to marketing. And if you do, a lot of these problems are going to go away because they're going to talk your language. You're going to be measured in a new way. You're going to be understood in a new way. And, I think that's a big issue. If you're coming up with all these acrobatic new ways to describe the value of community, it's just not going to work. You've got to be talking about the language about, ROI and impressions, and it doesn't necessarily have to be all quantitative measures like dollars. It can be qualitative measures like stories. If something great happens in your community, tell the story. Great leaders understand that. They understand stories. Think about the stories about people sharing your products, your processes, your brand outside the community. That's the language that the business can understand. Very quickly, I showed that slide with all these brand marketing benefits. We've got a short presentation today. We've got a short amount of time today. But if your company isn't leveraging community, the most powerful marketing utility we have today, to capture these brand marketing benefits, they are overlooking the greatest marketing opportunity in the history of marketing opportunities. I just want to give you a little bit of encouragement. And I'm not a bragging person, but I have a great track record of predicting what's next. I'm usually 2 years ahead of my time. And I want to tell you a little story of something that happened while I was writing the book. The day I wrote the last words of the book, my manuscript was finished. And I just wrote this book that said, community is the last great marketing strategy. McKinsey, one of the biggest consulting companies in the world, came out with a white paper. And here's what it said, a major research report. Their conclusion was community is the next big thing in marketing. So this just isn't my opinion, but I want to tell you, I'm right. You are the future of marketing. Marketing is about creating customers. So talk that language in your company. Tell your leaders, tell your the C-level people in your company how you have a role creating and nurturing customers. So it's been my great pleasure and honor and a lot of fun for me to present this to you today, because this is the first time I've really presented these ideas. This is a world debut. So yeah, I'm eager now to learn from you and take your questions. So I'll turn it back over to you, Lori.
Okay, thank you so much, Mark. That was amazing. So Jesse Ford.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing if I can figure out how to stop sharing. Or
Don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Yeah, okay. Don't worry
Jesse
about
Ford has a question.
Okay.
She says, this has been great. I get all of this being a community professional, but I'm still not able to share this story and information to marketing. They just don't comprehend it or appreciate it. Any advice?
That's why I wrote the book. And look, I'm not trying to be salesy. This book is the business case for you. If you have an enlightened professional leader. Now, if you've got someone that's afraid, if you have someone who's just trying to hold on to retirement, well, you got a problem on your hands. But if you look, if the people in marketing today, they know their job is to fight for relevance. They have to know everything. They have to be on top of every trend. If they read the first 3 chapters of this book, there is no way that they will not understand why community is essential to their future.
I'm trying to turn Alex Nassie's microphone on. Hang on a second.
Let me see.
Alex.
Turn it on.
There he is.
Hold on.
Hi, Alex.
Turning the video on too. Let's see if that works.
We hear you.
Well, video's not working, but yeah, audio is okay. Yeah, I was just saying I feel like this is a subjective kind of conversation too. Like I'm part of our customer experience organization, and we tie very closely with our marketing team. So I feel like it could just be I'm not the target audience on this in this regard, but you're pushing this. We have to be under marketing, and I've been managing our community at my company for like 9 years or so, and I've never been under our marketing department. For a majority of that time, I was under our support team because we were running it as a case deflection sort of mindset. And about 3-ish years ago, we switched, in conjunction with a bunch of other evolution, we switched over to having community under our just broader CX team, customer experience team. And when I was in the support team, there was no tie-in with marketing, and you definitely felt what you're saying, like where you're really fighting for any spotlight, any piece of the spotlight, any love for marketing, basically, even to the point of I couldn't find our branding colors and stuff like that.
Wow.
And that was a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Since we shifted and moved under the broader customer experience umbrella and had a much bigger tie-in with marketing along with other company goals, we have a very strong ownership. Marketing is very involved. They push and share our content. We're using our community platform, like website, as our main quote unquote like anchor points, or what we kind of call it, for all of our existing customers. Like our .com site is our lead generation, and marketing runs that too. And then we partner with them as far as our community being like our existing customers, our existing users, our partners, our employees, things like that. If you're already using our platforms, our software.
Yeah.
So I'm curious what you think about that in the sense of, in your opinion, is there leeway? Like, you made that 70-30 comp of community being under marketing. Is that account for every situation in your opinion, or is it?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure I understand the question. I mean, it sounds like you weren't under marketing, you went under marketing, and things got a lot better.
No. We're still not under marketing. Customer experience is separate. Customer experience are my company. Encompasses support.
So I mean, maybe there's, maybe that's okay as long as you're sort of being recognized and validated. At most, the big trend right now is the title of CMO is changing to CXO, Chief Experience Officer. So, I mean, maybe it'll all come together. I mean, look at it this way. If you're the CMO and then you've got, someone's in charge of customer experience, they're both trying to keep their jobs, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is like, I know this is a big organizational tangle, a big mess that's really out of everybody's control. But I'm just pointing out that as a marketing professional, the person who's in charge of marketing in your company, they should be overseeing every customer touch point, because that's your story. That's the story that's being told in the world.
Yeah.
The CX, what's happening in your community, that's the most important marketing in your whole company. How can that not be part of your CMO? So, I apologize, maybe it's like I talked about that and you go, okay, well, that's out of my hands, but it is. But I really think that's the big entanglement. I mean, that's the big disconnect is if you don't report to marketing, there will always be a disconnect. And at least let's put it in our minds that community is the future of marketing. It's going to be in marketing. And that's going to solve a lot of problems when that happens.
Okay. Yeah, I guess part of my thought process is what maybe depends on the goal of the community. I work for a software company running a lot of technical sides, like developers, and I am often in the position where I'm somewhat telling our marketing team to pump the brakes a little bit on how much they're marketing to our customers, whereas we open our ads and all of our ads and our press releases and things like that, or hey, we won this award, hey, we did this, look how great we are, versus
nobody wants to gather for that,
right? And so from being in the customer experience organization, where we have our training, we have our support, we have all of those other pieces where we're trying to focus on making our customers want to be happy and be focused on that experience, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where my point of view I'm coming from. Just kind of.
No, I agree with you. 100%. Good job for, keeping them at bay. You gotta, you have to be focused on why do people gather? Why do they want to be here? What's the purpose, the intersection between the purpose of our company and the purpose of why people want to be here? And that's what you need to think about every day as a community professional. Right. Yes. Thanks for your comments, Alex.
Thanks.
Does anyone else have any questions or comments or observations? I actually would like to ask Mark what he thinks the next phase coming is.
The next phase of what? Marketing or what?
Of marketing, of community. Do you think you had suggested that maybe there will be more of a movement toward community being understood as a function, as a department, and then maybe moving more under marketing because it does touch every single point of the customer journey, the sales funnel, whatever you want to call it?
Well, here's what could happen and what I hope will happen. The people, I mean, the book is doing very well. The book hit #1 in the marketing and advertising category in on Amazon. And the people who are reading the book are embracing the book. They agree. I mean, this is a pretty bold statement, that community is the last great marketing strategy. It's nobody's ever said that before. So I'm forcing people to think a new way. I'm forcing people to really view community in a more powerful way, and it's working. People are telling me, yes, hallelujah. This has opened my eyes. This is changing things. We've got to move this way. So I think it is going to change. I mean, I think my book is starting a movement. Is it going to be a small movement? I don't know. If it's going to be it is a small movement because it's already working. Is it going to be a big movement? I mean, I wrote a book a few years ago called Marketing Rebellion. Actually, that's the red book over my head. And there's big companies that took that book and said, this is our new strategy. This is our new path forward. So the best thing that could happen to the community profession is if my book becomes popular, because it's gonna, here's what I say in my book. The community professional is the most important person in your marketing organization. You need to pay them a lot. The community leader is more important than your CMO, because they're the face of your company. They're the face of your brand. This is the most important human asset in your marketing department. So my hope is that everybody buys my book. My book becomes a movement, and everybody listening today becomes rich.
I think we'd all love that. Okay. Would anyone else? Does anyone else want to talk? Okay. I can say from my perspective, the conversations that I've had with marketing, and I do read a lot of marketing books, because I do, and I read a lot of product books, and I read a lot of engineering books, and I work with developers because I want to be able to speak everyone's language. And that is, when I talk to marketing, I say, this is a source for one of the things that you need. And one of the things that you need is stories. So here is
right. Exactly.
Here's your here is a wonderful source for your content. And often that has that's been positive. I have had folks who just want to fight, and I try to be as diplomatic and civil as possible. But I do try to look at what is it they need, and for content marketers, it's definitely stories. So I'm like, here's the story I'm going to bring to you, and here's the story, and that. So just thought I'd kind of throw that in there as a possibility.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Lori, for having me today, and thanks for everyone for listening. And again, it was really fun for me to present these new ideas, really for the first time. And I hope you'll think about buying the book and spreading the word, and because it'll help all of us.
Thank you so much for your time. And folks, connect with me, connect with Mark. I highly recommend reading his book. It's been really helpful for me in my community work. And I'll see you guys all in March. And thank you again, Mark.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.